Okay, friends, I feel like I look kind of crappy, but right now I don't care because I'm kind of excited, and maybe you can feel that. I just had a journal come through, and it feels almost like old times. It feels really good, and so I'm going to record it. I want to share it with you. I just finished it. It is 4:14. This is Mayan day. Oh, it's an Ascension day, 13 offering. And here goes. Gosh, it feels good for my heart to be pulled into journaling here. It feels lighter somehow, more like old times, meaning just a few months ago. I don't want to say too much about it though. I don't want to scare it away. So I'll hush. Okay, now I've got a new security program that pops up now and then. Oh, I guess I have to start over because it's not going to leave me alone. Block. Okay, maybe it'll leave me alone now. Okay, no it won't. Wants to start automatically on my computer. All it says is version 1.0.30319, and it's an auto run. That really tells me a lot, like I'm supposed to be able to figure out whether to give it permission or not, huh? So I'm just going to say, remember what I'm saying, and block it for now, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what breaks. Okay, so to continue, sorry about that. So what calls me here? As usual, just a sensing. Mentally, I don't know. That part is to be found out in the doing, in the flow of it. That's the best way for mind to function, at least in my world. There's so much more joy in it than in the mind-dominated way of being, where the left brain is always in the lead. This way, mind is a participant, rather like a child in the car's back seat, enjoying the view rather than trying to drive. I watched a couple of short Deepak Chopra videos tonight and found them interesting. I'm all for every voice that's out there sharing its truth. I'll keep calling for respect, though, for in the comment threads, some people just don't see their own arrogance. It's kind of sad. And this, too, comes from leading a left brain style of life, which doesn't look inward enough, or it would be far more self-aware. Now, as usual here, I speak to myself. I was that arrogant one, and not so very long ago. I know from the inside what a challenge it is to try to convince someone in the science versus consciousness or philosophy debate of anything. Minds and hearts are closed. They're usually talking at cross purposes, not realizing how much underlying harmony really exists between the different views. If you've ever put your whole heart and soul into laying something out so very clearly for someone, only to have them simply not be able to see it, then you'll know what a thankless, pointless task it is. I see no blessing or benefit in it. For some skeptics, the only thing that would convince them would be to almost lose their life and be lucky enough to have an NDE for the personal proof that there are other legitimate points or angles of view. So, short of going around killing them all, only temporarily, of course, I suggest we just leave them alone. We do no one any service to cruise YouTube or the net for points of view we'd like to see changed. We're not able to do that, first of all, so let's lose the arrogance that thinks we can. And second, let's offer them the same respect we'd like to receive. respect for our free will and the right to use it as we see fit. Besides, that person may just have something to teach us, but we'll never see it if we enter the discussion in teacher mode. So, back into heart, everyone. Let's view life from there. It's the very best view of all, and if others can't see, well, that's their lookout, not ours. And so let's leave them to it, each to their own way and points of view. Now, there's a secret hidden in here, deep in heart anyway. It's the secret of radiance and resonance. And it's a far better way to win people to your points of view. I'll just barely touch on it here, but here's how it works. First, when you're in heart, you give up being the body. You simply know that you're not that. You're not the mind either. And somehow you know this eventually. Spend enough time on watch and observe duty, spotting and intentionally avoiding or ignoring thoughts, and you'll really know. Any thought, once followed, takes you straight out of heart. Happens every time. Now, returning to heart is no issue or problem, since it's a mere matter of the focus of attention, our ray of attention. It's just that it gets old. You want to be and stay in heart, but we're so programmed to left brain thought that it's a real challenge just to let it go. It's become a way of life. The first challenge is even to see it. We're so inured to it that it's not even noticed. It forms the whole backdrop of everyone's life for a while until we awaken to heart. And that makes it very hard to spot. By now, in the thread of these journals, you will be aware to both be in heart and to have your attention inward pointed. Now, while that's easily said, if we look at it, what it amounts to is a divorce from the world as we have known it. Everyone seems to be outward focused. It's the norm. So we really go against the grain to go within. That's what it amounts to, going within, entering, finding and entering the inner kingdom there. So these initially may be challenges, but anyone who truly persists will soon have them mastered. As with anything, it's in proportion to your desire and determination. No one can give this to you. You have to take it. If you fail, look to these, desire and determination, for without their foundation, how can you win your way into the inner kingdom, the heart? Whatever you do, see that you are following your own bliss, not someone else's. And then you'll radiate. See to the self first. Let the world sort itself out while you tend to your small part of it. Once we have won out over mind and turned our focus inward, we've accomplished a lot. We now stand poised to gain more self-knowledge than we've gained in our whole life up to now. Now we have the necessary stance to watch the self quietly and without interfering with it. And that's the next hurdle for most, letting the self do what it will while watching. This is where most fail, but there's no need to give up. He who gets knocked down 9 times and gets up 10, he's the winner. So we persist. Watch without interfering. How good are you at that? It's a real meditation, I can tell you. Often your mind and your heart will want to go different ways. When you're in heart, you're in touch with the flow, which is actually sacred, though it may not seem so at first. It'll seem mundane, just normal, but these are just the dust of the mind brought in on our clothes into Heart Kingdom. Keep watching silently. Don't interfere. Notice when the desire to stop what you were going to do or you were going to say, when that arises, and look to where the impulse comes from. Learn to spot it, and soon my bet is that you'll see it's the mind. Mind thinks it knows a better way, something smarter, more polite, more acceptable to say. Mind thinks it knows best, and it will second guess you, and it wants to overrule the heart flow. You just watch. That's your goal. Often enough, mind will speak up before heart has a chance to get its attention. Don't worry about that. Just watch that too. Watch your thoughts and feelings over it all. Just quietly look, doing nothing but noticing. That's all. It's enough for now. For now, you must just take this on faith. But soon enough, your inner teacher will get sufficient attention from you to make that connection with you to take over and be your 24/7 guide. So notice how it is that mind and heart have different ways, differing desires, and different character. Just keep watching. It's obvious enough to one attuned to the heart. It doesn't take long, but that doesn't matter anyway, since in heart you'll soon see that there is no time. Time has no meaning in here. Don't let mind tinker with this one. It's no use. Just observe for yourself to uncover the truth of it, or not. Again, just watch. I say this so often, but how often does your mind wander into thought, I might ask? A mind is not an easy thing to master, and it's not done by brute force or manipulation, not at all. That never works but temporarily, and there's quite a price to pay even for that. This is a beautiful, peaceful way of harmony and balance. How could heart offer anything less? No strong-arming in here. Your inner vision or heart vision begins to open as you pursue what is offered here. Now, this isn't the third eye chakra, but rather something more subtle than that. You may find that you have an eye anywhere and everywhere in the world and in the cosmos, in fact, from within. This inner kingdom contains real magic and the cosmos. That is how the outer world would view it anyway, as magical. It doesn't make good mind sense, but we're not concerned with that. Inside, in the kingdom of heart, there is no time and no space. You are both everywhere at once, as well as every when, too. All is open and available to you, not at the speed of light, but even faster, at the speed of thought. It takes light over 8 minutes to reach the earth from the sun. About 90 million miles, I think, or 1 astronomical unit. How long does it take your thought to reach the sun? Not so long. Not even 8 seconds. These are hints of the inner powers you gain by residence within your inner kingdom. But there's a price, and it's vigilance. And I've got to find my place again. My. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm speaking to myself, chasing you back to heart. Oh, I'd be embarrassed if I was able to, but when I'm really in heart, I'm not able to. Isn't that funny? It's very strange. Oh, I'm almost there. At the speed of thought, there's a price, and it's vigilance. You must first know certain things, such as the value of focusing only in and on heart, and the need to keep your attention inward and not outward focused. You must know the value of quietly just watching, of non-interference of mind in heart's ways. If you know only these, then you're well on your way. This all assumes you have the inner drive and desire for this path. For when you start, it will be a path. Once you attain to the inner kingdom with any stability, though, you will see your path just vanish, just disappear. All paths are linear, having an ahead, a behind, and a here, and requiring step after step in an orderly progression. Well, that will take you to the door of heart, but once you enter, you'll see it thoroughly transformed. When there is no time and no space, how can anything remain linear? It's impossible. Again, within heart, it is as if you are in superposition simply everywhere and every when. You move at the speed of thought wherever you like. It is heart thought, which I won't try to explain to those not yet stable in heart. There's no use, no point in it, being just an intellectual exercise in futility until then. So here's my closing suggestion. Keep a log or journal for your persistent questions. They are mind's questions for the greatest part, but that's fine. You're not going to be answering them or even asking them, just recording them so that you can safely let them go. Now listen closely. The best thing to do with all questions is to ignore them. Look away. That's how we handle thought from within heart. Heart itself will let us know when to pay attention to a thought. You'll just find yourself doing that once you gain a certain facility or sensitivity to the ways of heart. So for now, if you have a certain thought or question that persists, when you're finished with your pondering or your meditation, just write it down. Then clear your mind of it. Know that there's no need to remember it, for it's recorded, and you can let it go. Most of us don't know ourselves at all. We could not truly answer what are the deepest, most important things to us and the most important questions to the real us, to the being or soul. With a focus always pointed out at the world, how can we know what is within, in the heart? Well, over time, if you persist in your heart adventures, you can begin to sort out the heart's true questions and concerns from those of the mind, which will be 99% of the whole. Thus, for now, don't treat any of them as important. Do your best to just ignore and jot down the ones that seem to be important now with the date. Always keep the date. You'll see why later. For now, just know that it's useful. In closing, keep no expectations regarding anything. Don't picture the future in any way. That violates staying in heart, for it violates staying in the moment, in now. Expectations, of course, always relate to the future, which we'll all soon see is not real. Expectations are also tied in to beliefs, which are things of mind which limit and tie us down. So, drop every expectation like a hot potato. You could even journal what it was you dropped when you noticed and decided to drop it. And then you'll be able to see as time goes by how these things go. Blessings, my friends. This is a fruitful path indeed. My heart is with you strongly and firmly in support of every heart step you take. You'll find me in there once you get in there. No joke. It is a way paved with joy and delight. So be sure to allow these in when they come to visit, which will be often. Be alert. And parenthetically, I said, and if they don't come to visit often enough, look to underlying beliefs you hold that you don't deserve them. Joy and delight. Okay. No, I guess I'll leave it here. I'll trust the journal. I started out to speak of resonance and a different way of knowing, but I guess I'm just going to look to the next journal to close that out. So, good day, good night, good morning. I guess it's about 4 a.m. Good now.